Hello dear creatives, you're welcome to another free class on how to make fascinators. And I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. And if you're yet to do so, please don't hesitate to click the subscription button. So in today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us how to create a wonderful crinoline fascinator. And it is crinoline fascinator. So the main and the most important material to be used here is crinoline. So I have crinoline here with me, and then I'll be spicing it up with feathers. And yes, I need my carrier. So my carrier is going to be Alice band. I'll be working with my glue, and then I'm also going to be using a felt for the covering. So if you're new here, I know that this class is beginner focused. Yes, it's a beginner focused class. So if you're new here, all of these materials I just mentioned are a part of the starter packs and basic materials you need to start out in millinery. So without wasting much time, let's get into work. So in today's class, I want to show us how to create a crinoline bow fascinator. So it's a crinoline bow fascinator. So for this material with me, I have 3 yards, and I'm going to be exhausting all of it. So I have 3 yards here, and I'm going to be exhausting the whole of my 3 yards. Can you see? So now the first thing I want to do is to, you see the thread at the tip of my crinoline? Let me show you something, because a lot of creators, or creatives rather, they make the mistake of working with it directly. It is wrong. So can you see the thread? This thread should be removed. You see, there is no hair. Because it's not here, is enough reason to tell us that we're not supposed to work with it like this. So what am I going to do? You're going to gently pull it out. Emphasis on gently. Gently pull it out, oh please. If not, your crinoline will free. So I'm going to gently pull it out. Can you see? Just do it gently. I'm then going to, pull it out all through to the end. And then I'm going to remove it and show us the next thing to do. Okay, so now I've already removed it, and next thing I want to do is to fold my crinoline into two, like so. I'm going to fold my crinoline into two like this, and then pour a little of glue. When I say a little, I mean a little. Now I'm doing this because this is a beginner centered class. If it's very a beginner centered class, I'm not even going to do it. Most of my tutorials will be followed, so you will see that I don't usually apply my glue like this, because if you've grown so well in certain processes in millinery, you will just, you skip some unnecessary parts. But the essence of applying this glue is just to hold it down together. But this is also the same function as your needle and thread. So if you know you can maneuver it without having to apply your glue with your needle and thread, then you can go on ahead to secure it down with your needle and thread. But if that's not the case, please, probably this is your first time seeing classes on art designing, please, I implore you to apply your glue like I am doing. Put your glue on it. Once it's a bit dried, you gather the tip together and you sew. So I think this one is now dry. So what do I mean by gather the tip together? So this is the process of gathering the tip together. Just put it together this way and together like this. Once you put it together like this, you press it together. Then the next thing you want to do is to go in with your needle and thread. Your thread should be, your needle should already be threaded in the color of the material you are working with. Emphasis on that, please. And then you tie it down until you see it is firmly secured, and then you cut. So now, once you do this for this first part, ensure to do it for the second side too. Ensure to do it for the what? Ensure to do it for the second side. Whatever you do for this first part, ensure to do for the second side. Okay, so now I've already done for the first part, and I said anything you do for the first part, I should do for the second part. Remember that we are closing this crinoline, so you want to be careful to close in the direction of the first close. Now, remember the first part was closed. So this is the first part that was closed. It's three yards, so it's long. So this is the first part that was closed. Now I will ensure that the second part that I'm closing in is the same direction as the first part. If you miss this, oh, you have created a very, very, very disastrous error. You might have to lose it and cut it. So you have to trace it down. You trace it all down to ensure that, okay, I am closing in the same direction, not in the opposite direction. So like I said, what do? You're going to apply your glue, wait for it to get a bit solid, and then you're going to use your needle and thread to secure it down. So I'm going to do this and show us the next thing to do. Okay, so now I've done this. The next thing that you must do, that is very important, is to trim this excess part of your crinoline that is useless. It's very useless. It doesn't make your work neat. So what do? You just give it a trim, leaving out a little bit so that it doesn't fray. So now that I've trimmed that, now let's get into the main bow formation. So now you want to take this part of your crinoline, bend it to the back, and then you want to ensure that whatever you're bending forward, you take back, you bend it to the back. Now if you notice, I didn't cut my thread. Yes, I didn't cut it for a reason. And then fold an equal part of your bow to the front too. So can you see? Can you see I formed the bow? Now you're going to do an alignment check. You check if this side is as equal as this side. If you don't know how to use your eyes to do alignment check, this is where your tape rule comes in. So you get your measuring tape. You measure, what do I have from here from the middle to the first end of my bow. You check. I have 6 inches here. Let me do the same thing for the second side. Please check. We'll do an alignment check. Oh, perfect. I also have the same thing, 6 inches. Can you see? The moment you see that there is now alignment, the next thing you do is to use your. I did not cut my thread because I still want to work with it. You now tie it round, ensuring that the middle part that you put inside is secure. Let me show you the middle part. See the middle part. Can you see the middle part? So you tie it so firmly, ensuring it is well secured, and then you pass your needle through it. Now, in this particular art making academy, I preach using your hand to work than using glue. And even if I'll be allowing you use glue, I'll be allowing you use glue at sensitive areas where I know that maybe you need a double or two-factor authentication. Maybe you need both your hand and glue to work. And I am in this academy, I help you to identify the right glue to work with at the point, at the best point, and also for each project. So somebody may be wondering, now why don't I use hot glue instead? Well, as time goes by, you understand why hot glue is more specific for certain projects. So without wasting much time, I'm going to continue. Now this time, I want my second bow layer to be at least 1 inch longer than the first bow layer. So can you see? Can you see I've folded and this is longer outside? I'm going to do the same thing for this part. I'll fold to the back. So can you see it's also longer? It's longer. So now what am I going to do next? Pass my needle and thread through the middle and tie it as usual. Like I said, I'm doing this because this class is beginner focused. If you're not a beginner, if this was meant to be a beginner focused class, I'm just going to fold my bow all at once and run away. Permit me to use the word run away. Like I said, I want to make a bow that is not equal. So this is called an asymmetric bow. So can you see that I have created, see? Can you see how it is? Now I decided to pull it out because I don't want the direction to be the same thing. So I'm going to form my third bow now, ensuring it's also bigger than my second bow. So this is how you keep forming your bow on and on and on like this until you exhaust the whole of your crinoline. Now you can leave your bow well arranged this way. You can leave it arranged this way. The choice is yours, and you can choose to open it up. So I'm going to continue to form each of my bows as I am going and until I'm done exhausting my crinoline. So after doing that, I'm going to show us the next thing to do. If you have to back the process of folding and sewing in order to get a firm grasp, please don't hesitate to do so. So now can you see this floating last part? You're also going to cut it out. And so now this floating last part, you're going to bring it in this way. You're going to put it in this way. Can you see? So when you put it in this way, you use your hand to hold it down. And after using your hand to hold it down, you're going to use your needle and thread again. Pass it through the middle. And then you're going to wrap around it 3 times. You're going to wrap your thread around it 3 times. This is to be able to, firmly secure it down to tie it. So after doing this, you are now very assured that your bow, you have now used your hand to tie everything and nothing will happen to it. Even if the person wearing it is a child. Children can be more careless with certain things and we adults can handle it. And that's one of the reasons why I preach handwork in the millinery. So now, after doing this, the next thing to do is to scatter your bow. For this design, actually. For this design. It is for this design. If I wasn't doing this design, I won't do this. But because I want volume for this particular design. That's why I'm scattering my bow. emphasis on I want volume. I want volume. Let me raise the camera a bit. So can you see? The emphasis on I want volume. Oh, that's why I'm doing this. I want it to sprout out on my crinoline, on my Alice band. So this is my Alice band. I want it to really sprout out on it. I want to give it that full force. So can you see? So that's why I'm doing this. I want it to let it make the noise, so to say. I want noise. So the essence of this is because I want volume. I want it to make noise for me. So the more noise you want it to make, the more you pull out like this. So I'm going to keep pulling this out and I'm going to show us how to attach it to our Alice band. Okay, so now I'm done doing this. Now, should in case you want to leave this part open, you don't want to put anything on it, you probably don't want to embellish, and you have to cover it. You can get a piece of bias, please, in the exact color of what you are doing, and just cover it like this. Can you see? You get your bias and you cover it like this. Let me show us what I'm trying to see. Now, you just want to cut out a little. So before you cut out, you can size it first, like I did. And after sizing it, you just cut it out. And you go again with your glue. Remember that for this part now, you can't sew because you want to cover it. So you apply your glue. I'm going to apply my glue here now and show us how to cover it. So right now, can you see I've used my glue? Now somebody is wondering that I've not cut the thread. Oh yes, I've not cut the thread because it's still my thread I'm going to use to fix it on my Alice band. And cutting my thread would be a waste of time since I want to use my thread to fix it to my Alice band. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to trace it from back to front and lay it on it, ensuring I have a very firmly. So can you see that it has covered anything we sewed? Can you see that you can't see anything again? So you're going to lay it. Just ensure that it lays very well. So once it has laid very well, now if you don't want to use your hand to use it to fix it on your Alice band, it's okay to cut it. But if you want to use your hand like I'm going to be doing, I mean your thread now, you can just pass it out of your bias this way, whatever it is to use to cover it. So can you see I've passed it out? Now that I have passed it out, what's the next and important thing to do? The next and important thing to do is to get my Alice band, because it's time to fix it on our Alice band. So I'm going to be putting this on my Alice band. Now, to get the exact position where your fascinator will sit on your Alice band, you measure the full length of your Alice band, which usually is 14 inches to 14.5 inches. So let's measure this one to see how many inches it is. So this is giving us 14.5. Some gives 14.75. So you locate the midpoint. Now the midpoint of 14.5 is 7.25, which is here. Now I already marked my midpoint. Now away from my midpoint, I'm going to measure 2 inches. Away from my midpoint, I'm going to measure 2 inches. It is on these 2 inches that I'm going to put my fascinator. Can you see that? You divide the full length of your Alice band into two. Away from the midpoint, you mark 2 inches. So this is that on the exact point of attachment of your fascinator. And after doing that, the next thing you want to do is to place your fascinator on it like this. On that spot, on that exact spot. That's how you are going to place it. And when you place it on that exact spot, you are going to tie. You are going to tie. The first process is you tie it. You tie your fascinator around your Alice band like this. But now, by the time you want to pull out your thread, don't pass it to the top like this. If you pass it to the top, you have committed a big blunder. You're going to pass it in under into your bias. So I'm going to pass it in like so. Bring it out of the other side and drag so firmly. So can you see? Can you see? I'm going to repeat the same process for about 3 to 4 times, ensuring that my fascinator is now sitting well on my Alice band, and I don't need anything that I don't need to stress myself or be afraid of whether it's going to fall off the person wearing it or not. So I'm going to do this, and after doing this, I'm going to cut out my thread and show us the next thing to do. So now can you see I've cut out my thread. Once you're done firmly securing it, then you can now cut out it. I've cut out my thread. So you can still properly adjust this depending on what you want. You can still properly pull it out, pull it up to still come out well. So now the next thing to do is to cover this place. We can't leave it open. No, hey, please. You can't leave it open at all. So what do you want to do? This is where your felt comes in. This is where your felt comes into action. This is where it comes into play. So for my felt, I'll be using a black felt. And this is what a black felt looks like. So I just want to cut a little of it. I'm going to be doubling my felt and cut just small. A little, please. Oh, Now see, I cut a rectangle shape for this one. There are some designs that I can't work with anything than is a circle shape. So and then I'm going to use it to cover it like this. Can you see? Use it to cover every thread that is showing. So that's the essence of your felt. And if you already have your brand logo, you can put it here instead of the felt. So that whoever is wearing the hat will know that okay, this person made it. So now what is the next thing to do? Apply my glue as usual. I use it to cover it. Every of the parts where you apply your glue, ensure that your glue is a bit solidified before you use it on it to avoid staining. Now, somebody may be wondering, why did I choose to double it? You can decide to use a single. It's still going to work perfectly. Can you see? Using a single felt can work perfectly. But sometimes for strength, that's when I use this. For strength's sake, that's when I use this. So I'm going to use my glue now and then I'm going to use it to cover it. Okay, so dear creatives, I'm already done covering it and this is what I have. So can you see? So now as it is, if you want extra drama, you can attach flowers. Just put something little here, something little here. Or you can put beads or you can just do anything. But for this one, I just want to limit it to using my feathers. I mean, don't maybe later change my mind. But as at now, let's just work with feathers. So now, the next thing to do is strip your feather. Now, for this feather stripping process, I'd like you to pay close attention. I like to pay close attention. So while putting this aside, the next thing you want to do is grab your feather, grab a bowl. You can decide to work on your table. The choice is yours. And then you want to pull out your feather by the side. And stripping. Emphasis on hand stripping. Please don't use your scissors to strip. It's not going to make your feather stock come out neat. This is your feather stock. It's not going to make it neat. So that's why I'm emphasizing on hand stripping. So the next thing you want to do is to pull out side by side like so. If your feather stock should thin out, leave it to make your feather fluffy the more. That's not a problem. So when you strip to opposite sides, when you see that you are stripped to opposite sides of your feather, the next thing to do is to grab your scissors. Now for this particular design, feather design, I want to shape an arrow tip feather. So now after doing it, you grab your feather like this and you pick your scissors. I want to create an arrow tip shape. So you see that in this class I've learned so many techniques, and then I want to just cut out my feather like so. I said I want to create an arrow tip shape. Oh, please emphasis on arrow tip. So just do the same thing for the second side, and you're good to go. So you're going to shape it until you have gotten your desired shape. So that, can you see? So this is it. So I'm going to repeat the same process for the remaining feathers. And if you notice that your feather already has an arrow tip like this one, you don't need to do too much. Just strip it and leave the tip like that. But if there's still a need for you to shape it, then you're good to go. So I'm going to do this, and then when I get to the tip, I'm going to leave it. This one already has an arrow tip. I can only decide to, align the shape because there's a bit of an inconsistency here. So I'm going to align the shape, strip to align. Then after doing this, I'll show us how to fix it on our Fascinator, and that is that about this class. Remember, it's a 4-week class, and our videos are dropping every Saturday. So do well to share to your friends and someone that you know needs it. Because of this inconsistency, let me shape it. But my shaping will not be too much. I'm just going to shape it to ensure that the inconsistency is not so obvious. So, can you see? I'm shaping it so that the inconsistency will not be too obvious. That's why I'm shaping it. But if you know that, oh, it already has an arrow shape or arrow tip already, then there's no need though. So can you see? So it's slimmer because the feather at the tip was not so full. It's slimmer. In cases like that, if you need something full, you cut it. You cut out the tip that is not full. You use the middle part. So I'm going to repeat the same process for my feathers and show us how to attach it to our fascinator. It's time to fix our feather. So you just want to put your glue at the tip and fix it at specific positions on the fascinator. So you put it in like so, like I did. Can you see? I put it inside my um, glue. I just open up. You put it in. You pick another one. You open up. You put it in. So you want to fix it as very specific points, like I said, ensuring that your work comes out pretty. So you open up again, you fix it in. Just do something that will come out beautiful and nice, okay? So that's the essence of it. So I'm going to do this for my remaining feathers and show us what it looks like. Okay, so dear creatives, this is now what we have. I hope you can see how looking good it is. So like I said, you can decide to fill up with more feathers. Just continue to do what it is that will make your work look full, because in millinery, volume is where the money is. So when you put a whole lot of things on your heart, it's going to enter your customers' eyes. It's going to make them pay the amount you call for them. So this is this about this particular class. So I'd like you to tell me how much you would possibly or likely sell this fascinator in the comment section. And if you know that you've learned a lot in this particular class, don't hesitate to share it to any of your friends you know that you want to get them empowered. And also save, like, and leave a beautiful comment for me. See you next week where I'll drop another beautiful tutorial on how to make fascinators. Bye.